All right, I know a lot of you think that China has a massive population. I think it's projected to be 1.2 billion, but that's never made sense to me. It's not 1.2 billion because one, the one child policy that they had for a very long time, so everyone was only having one child. Therefore, you need at least three kids for a net positive out of two parents. So when you have one child or none, that's a net negative, okay? Now, people were getting away with this. They were having more than one kid, okay? I've had some Chinese girlfriends, all right? They were born during the whole one child policy. They have brothers and sisters because their family there's some ways to get around it to where you can like hide them and stuff like this, okay? Or lie about the birthday, all this stuff. So it wasn't a complete every single person had one child or less. So some families got around it. Also, only males back then could, I think it was like own property, get special things for the family, like own the property, continue the lineage, all this stuff that women did not get. So if they had a girl, they would just basically off her and start again, okay? So that's why China has an issue where it's more men than women. And then also you have just feminism and everything that's going on right now that the women here just aren't having kids, okay? So yeah, the population I think is around less than 500 million. I mean, the girl I dated in Europe, she's in Europe since 2018. She's in her 30s now, still no kids. The girl I'm dating right now, or I dated last year, she's not. We aren't in China. We're in Southeast Asia. She's in the country I am. She's just running around doing her own thing. No kids. She's in her 30s now. Like, this is it, guys. No, China's not having kids, all right? So let's get into this video here.
China recently released its 2025 population data. According to the National Bureau of Statistics,
Oh, and one last thing. Uh, yeah, that virus that was in 2020, that killed off so many people in China. You have no idea. Hundreds of millions of people dead because of that.
the total population is expected to drop to around 1.405 billion, a decrease of 3.39 million from the previous year. This marks the fourth consecutive year of negative growth. Out of the 27 provinces with available data, 20 saw a population decline, while only 7 experienced growth. This data has sparked heated discussions online.
1000万人口的哈尔滨，街上没人，写字楼没人，餐厅没有人。
She's saying in Harbin, with a population of 10 million, there's no one on the streets, no one in office buildings, no one in restaurants.
In Harbin, with a population of 10 million, there's no one on the streets, no one in office buildings, no one in restaurants. Where did all the people go? I remember back when we had 1.3 billion people. The streets were full. The train stations were crowded with people carrying big bags. But now, with 1.4 billion, it feels like there's no one. The only place that's crowded now is the hospital. There are huge lines there. Does anyone know where all the people in Harbin have gone?
So, I mean, the population definitely is not going up, but a lot of people left China as well. If they didn't die in the last 5 years, they just left the country and they're hiding in certain cities across the world like Vancouver. And yeah, everyone I met in China, they want to stay the heck out of China for some reason.
Official data shows that Harbin, a northern city, has a population of around 10 million. But in reality, it's hard to feel that kind of population density in everyday life. The streets are quiet, office buildings are vacant, and restaurants have very few customers. The doubts about the population data quickly grew, with many online users expressing clear distrust, even outright rejecting the official numbers. They say most of them are gone, and there aren't many births anymore. One user commented, "The world has already acknowledged that China's population is around 800 million. There's hardly anyone left." Another user said, "After the 3 vaccine shots, there aren't many people anywhere." This feeling isn't just limited to Harbin.
They're just like, yeah, after the vaccine shots, they're gone. They're gone. I don't know what happened. Yeah, you were able to see satellite images of people being like bodies being burned during that time with the shots and before the shots.
A similar discussion and
And they said I think it's 800 million. I think it's less than that. They want The reason they lie about the population is because they want the world to think that they have a lot of people, because it signifies they have a military strength because they have so many people, and they have a big economy that they could then switch to using the BRICS. So everyone's using Chinese currency. They could buy and sell with China, get more trade partners, investors all in China because they have such a big population. Uh, there's many reasons why they want people to think they have a lot of people in their country.
Confusion have emerged in another northeastern city. A user from Fushun, Liaoning, also expressed almost identical concerns on social media.
Are you constantly being called the nice guy by women that you're attracted to? Like,
Nope.
they genuinely.
There is a strange phenomenon happening in Fushun lately. I specifically searched it up, and Fushun's resident population is 1.71 million. Are these 7.71 million people not eating anymore? I was chatting with a colleague this afternoon. One was making videos for restaurant. Their coupons aren't selling, the live streams aren't being watched, and no one is eating at the restaurants. I figured maybe people are being more frugal now, buying groceries and cooking at home. Then I talked to the aunt who sells vegetables at the market, and she said no one is buying their produce. It's not selling. Some might say they're ordering takeout, but when I got on the elevator, I saw the delivery guys and they all looked pretty down. I talked to them, and they said, there are no orders now, no orders at all. It's way less than before. I saw someone online guessing that people have all gone back to their hometowns, to their counties. I'm from a county too, buddy, and no one's coming back. On the streets, it's just old people and children. Let me tell you, when I go down in the elevator in the morning, if I happen to see someone around my age, my whole day feels so much better. But there's no one. On the streets, it's either people with canes or pushing carts.
Data shows that among the
That's so dystopian. Oh my gosh. That'd be so crazy to see.
20 provinces with negative population growth, Hunan has lost 470,000 people, Sichuan has lost 460,000, Anhui has lost 410,000, and Shandong has lost 372,000.
Real quick, I did see a video where a woman's talking about rice sales and how they used to import rice from Japan or something, and that imports are like over half of what it was, more than 50% less than what it was before 2020. Like from 2019 to like 2024, it's over 50% less because there's over 50% less people.
In the northeast, Heilongjiang has lost 280,000 people, and Liaoning has lost 240,000. Other central and western provinces, like Hubei, Guangxi, Jiangxi, and Gansu, have also recorded net decreases in the tens of thousands. In contrast to the continuous population decline in most provinces, there are a few regions that are still seeing growth. However, the structure of this growth has sparked new discussions. According to the data, Guangdong saw an increase of 790,000 people, the highest in the country. Zhejiang added 310,000, and Xinjiang, Hainan, Shanghai, Tibet, and Ningxia also experienced slight growth.
Yeah, because those growth areas that she just said, hang on, like there are major cities in these areas. The second one here is Shanghai, I believe, and then Beijing's up here. But yeah, Shanghai's here, and then down here, I forget what the city's called, but they have made like popular cities where a lot of people live.
Shanghai, Tibet, and Ningxia also experienced slight growth. However, a deeper look at the data reveals that this growth isn't entirely due to natural population increase, but is largely driven by population influx. For example, in Guangdong, out of the 790,000 new people, only about 290,000 came from natural growth, while about 500,000 came from net migration from other provinces. In other words, this growth is more like a siphon effect, where population growth is maintained by attracting people from other regions. Shanghai's situation is...
It's just a thing now where, and it's all planned too, they want to move you into major cities. They don't want you out in the province somewhere or in some smaller town or city. People need to move to the bigger cities for jobs. And that's what the elites want too. They want everyone in these big, smart cities.
Similar. Its natural growth is negative, with 107,000 births and 164,000 deaths.
Oh, look, we've got some Tartarian buildings here. Funny.
But due to a net influx of 108,500 people, it achieved a positive growth of 51,500. This means that without migration, even these so-called growing regions would still face the trend of population decline. More and more ordinary people from first-tier cities are starting to verify this data through their own daily experiences. A netizen who has lived in Beijing for a long time shared his observations.
今天和大家聊一个有趣的事儿啊，就是我发现北京的人口啊真的少了。
Today, I want to talk about something interesting. I've noticed that the population in Beijing has really dropped. How did I notice? Well, a couple of days ago at 8:30 in the morning, I went to take the subway and found there was actually a seat. I've been coming to Beijing for almost 20 years, and this has never happened before. In the past, whether it was 8:30 or 9,
I want to explore Australia.
Make my parents.
if you went to take the subway, it was always packed, with people elbowing each other. So much so that you didn't even need to hold on to anything because the people around you would keep you steady. Now, there's actually a seat. Then a couple of days ago on Monday, I drove to work and found there was a parking spot in the underground garage under my office. In the past, it would take me over an hour to get to work, and I'd still spend half an hour looking for a spot. Now, there are empty spots. So I got curious and looked up the data, and it turns out that in 2025, Beijing's resident population is about 22 million. According to the 14th five-year plan, Beijing's population is supposed to be kept below 23 million, and it looks like we've already exceeded that target. Plus, according to some rumors, about 400,000 to 500,000 people didn't return to Beijing after the new year.
A netizen from Shanghai shared a similar feeling, saying, "It feels like there are fewer people in." A netizen from
Yeah, you can't trust the statistics of the population. I mean, look at them. You can't even trust them here with these face filters.
Shanghai shared a similar feeling, saying, "It feels like there are fewer people in Shanghai, too." Some people in the comments believe that after the pandemic, many people's health has deteriorated.
Yeah, and they even came out with a law recently, I think, where they're trying to ban, or they did ban, drama shows for women because they believe that the declining birth rate is because women aren't dating and getting married and having kids because they watch these toxic drama shows about basically women being feminists and going and living life and playing games with men and not settling down and getting married. And so they're not having kids and they're just going and living their best life. So they banned those shows to try and get women not poisoned so they'll get married and have kids. So them doing something as extreme as that shows that no matter what they say about the population, they know our population's declining. They're not having kids, just like Korea, just like Japan, just like all the countries in the West. All the first world Western nations, or just first world nations, their population's going down. And all the third worlders, they're multiplying 5, 6, 7 kids per woman.
From Harbin and Fushun to Beijing and Shanghai, more and more individuals from different cities and regions are feeling the same way, that people are disappearing. This change is even spreading to the busiest transportation hubs. A netizen shared their personal experience at Tianjin Airport.
大家说一个比较可怕的事儿啊。
Let me tell you about something a bit crazy. A few days ago, I flew out of Tianjin. When I got to the airport to check in, there were only 3 people in line in front of me. Then, when I went through security, usually there's that long snake-like queue, right? But there were only 2 people in front of me. It wasn't a particularly early or late flight either. I was thinking, what happened? Is there really fewer people? Or is the economy just in this bad of a shape? Then, When I went to the waiting area, I checked the display at the gate. It was around 12 p.m. when I sat down, and my flight was at 2 p.m. I suddenly realized the display only showed 2 flights, mine at 2 p.m. and another at 7 p.m. That shows that the gate utilization is so low. It's only used a few times a day. It's clear that Tianjin's flights have visibly decreased. I just saw a post by another blogger who said the same thing about Beijing. People are visibly fewer. He took his mom to Tiantongyuan to take the subway, and it used to be packed with people with long queues, but
Yeah, it's a mix of people going overseas or other countries, people dying, or people going back out west to smaller little towns, province towns, to just live in the farm and grow their own food because they don't want to work. I made this in my last video. The Chinese, they don't want to work because they know the system's rigged. They know like they'll work all the time and get nothing out of it. So they just say, screw it. They just go back to their little province town and they just live cheaply there. That's probably what's happening. They're probably like, I'm not doing this big life in Shanghai anymore. It sucks.
this time there was no line at all. I'm wondering, what's going on with Beijing and Tianjin?
In the comments, many netizens responded, saying, "The old are dead, the young aren't being born, and the younger ones are being taken for parts." It's
Holy shit. Oh my god. The old are dead. The young aren't being born. And the younger ones are being taken for parts. Wow.
no surprise. The 3 vaccines, plus the organ harvesting, means fewer people. People
Oh
have
my
been eaten
gosh.
or sold by others. China doesn't have 1.4 billion people anymore.
People have been eaten or sold by others. China doesn't have 1.4 billion people anymore.
It's decreasing at a visible rate. Now it's less than 1 billion. By next year, there will only be 800 million. People have been eaten by demons.
I mean, they're not wrong. They're not wrong. When you realize who rules this world and they're baby-eating demons, yeah.
What's even more notable is that this sense of emptiness isn't just in the north or first-tier cities.
Dude, I'm
It's
so glad they actually said that and that people in China actually know this now.
also happening in the southwest. In Chongqing, once bustling commercial areas are now showing noticeable changes. A netizen filmed the situation. Bustling commercial areas are now showing noticeable changes. A netizen filmed the situation at Shapingba, Three Gorges Plaza, where many shops are closed, storefronts are vacant, and the whole pedestrian street seems unusually quiet.
重庆沙坪坝区三峡广场也是冷冷清清的。
In Chongqing's Shapingba district, Three Gorges Plaza is also eerily quiet. This used to be the Three Gorges Plaza pedestrian street, but now it looks like this. This shop is closed. This one is closed too, and this one is also shut down.
Dude, it's like that in the country I live in, Asia, where there's a lot of like malls like this outside. It's a mix of a mall and apartments and stuff, and there's just nobody there. Like no one. It's really wild. And even here they're having kids, but there's still not a lot of people. It's the server of Earthrealm. This server, no one wants to join the server anymore, dude. It's like gosh, it used to be like Halo 3, I don't know, Jenga, and everyone's joining the lobby, and you have 16 out of 16 people. You even have the map like this. Looks like the Halo... Wait, maybe this is the Halo 3 menu map. And all lit up everywhere. Everyone's playing, and now it's dead. No one's on the server. No one wants to join any custom games anymore. It's all trash. That's what they're looking at Earth right now. They're like, I don't want to be born into this Earth realm. I might get eaten, dude, by demons. Hell no, dude.
Even this one has closed, and over here, all the doors are locked. Is it because the environment is really bad this year, or has consumer spending dropped? It's only March, just after the New Year, and I didn't expect it to become like this. This is the Three Gorges Plaza pedestrian street, and it feels like it will never go back to how it was before. Everything around here is cold and quiet, and I wonder how many people still remember this place. Shapingba's Wang Fujing has been closed for so long, and it still looks like this. The
Oh my
McDonald's here
gosh.
being closed for so long,
Wow.
and it still looks like this. The McDonald's here is also closed. And the Happy D Noble Dental, it's closed too.
Oh, of course the McDonald's closed, dude. The Chinese, they know. They serving people. They ain't eating there. Hell no.
And now the door is tightly locked, with thick dust inside. It looks like it's been empty for a long time. I don't know what happened. Even Shopping Baz Edwards is closed. How many people still remember this place?
I mean, I could tell you what happened. AliExpress, Alibaba, all that stuff. Just like Amazon in America. Once Amazon, eBay, all that became big in America, all our malls closed down, dude. And then you just have a couple outdoor malls that have a couple shops, but people go there to watch Marvel movies, which I don't even know if that's a thing anymore. I don't know. I haven't lived there in a while. But same thing here. You have online shopping. Everyone buys online. No one's going to these Three Gorges Mall. The Three Gorges Dam is more important than China's Three Gorges Mall. At least with that dam, if you blow it up, it's nuclear war automatic. Shit.
Now the entrance is a parking lot.
In the comments, someone pointed out, salaries have remained the same for 10 years, but prices are skyrocketing. Many people don't understand why. Let me put it this way. 10 years ago, my salary was $3,000, and now it's still $3,000. 10 years ago, hot pot cost about $50 per person, but now it's over $100. When income stagnates or even declines in real purchasing power, combined with rising living costs, shrinking consumption seems like an inevitable outcome. Ordinary people are facing not just less money, but it even seems like people themselves are becoming fewer. Where did the people go? Some analyses suggest that the huge gap between official data and reality is a reflection of the long-term systematic population data manipulation by
Yeah, it is data manipulation, but this is all over the world. It's not just China or the leaders in China of salaries remaining the same while everything gets more expensive. This is a worldwide global plan by beings that I mean, we know who they are. It's in the Bible. But this is a global plan of all the countries to just increase expenses, but not wages. This is happening where I live now. This happened when I was living in Europe and America, especially Europe, where I heard how much people made in my job with what the costs were. And now people make the same and costs are 5 times as much. Happening all over the world. It's a unified plan. It's not just one specific country.
the Communist Party. The CCP's population statistics system has been deeply influenced by political interference and pressure for achievements. Since the family planning era, the distortion has become a long-standing issue. Historically, when the Communist Party implemented the one-child policy, local officials often hid, underreported, or falsely reported birth numbers to meet the control targets set by the higher-ups. Many children born outside the policy remained outside the household registration system. At the same time, some areas inflated the population data to exaggerate the population dividend and make their political achievements look more impressive. They did so by re-registering or artificially increasing the base numbers. The tradition of falsification continued in subsequent population censuses. The data from the 7th National Census continued in subsequent
Yeah, that one-child policy, I'll never understand it because I don't think China was having a population issue. I believe the one-child policy was an early rendition plan of population decline. They wanted a lower population for the globalist agenda, and they started it a long time ago. And they told China, literally, hey, you guys, just let's test this out. Have everyone just have one kid. Let's see how that goes. Everyone else, we're gonna introduce feminism. Let's see how that goes. Literally, that's what they were doing. They were just throwing stuff at the wall, see what sticks, and see what hits the population the most. That's why it happened again in 2020. China was one of the only countries that went as hard as it did with lockdowns. And then you see hundreds of millions gone from that. People literally starving in their apartments because they can't leave.
Population censuses. The data from the 7th National Census was widely questioned for overestimating key indicators like birth and death rates. which differed significantly from independent estimates. The Chinese Communist Party's abrupt shift from family planning to population boosting further exposed its arbitrary.
This isn't just food. This is survival in Gaza.
Data manipulation. When achievements needed to be shown, the numbers were inflated. When the crisis became too obvious, negative growth was reluctantly admitted. In recent years, doubts about data manipulation have intensified. Some analyses suggest that the official figure of 1.4 billion people may be severely exaggerated, and the actual population might only be around 700 to 800 million, or even lower. Russian media once inferred from indirect indicators, like food production and trade data, that China's real population did not exceed 800 million. Some whistleblowers and independent scholars have pointed out that household registration duplications, underreporting of rural populations, and the concealment of death data during the pandemic have further inflated the numbers. The root of the CCP's population data falsification lies in the nature of its authoritarian system. Local officials, driven by political performance evaluations, beautify data to avoid penalties, while higher authorities turn a blind eye or even encourage this. During the family planning era, extreme measures like forced abortions and fines severely distorted the population structure. After the pandemic, death data was underreported, and the effects of infections were downplayed, further obscuring the true death toll. Data can be falsified and deceived for a while, but it can't keep deceiving forever. Changes in the population structure are gradually becoming evident in daily life. A netizen noticed that kindergartens had closed down, and now primary schools are closing as well.
No one
Closing as well. That kindergartens had closed down, and now primary schools are closing as well.
have imagined that the era
All right, so no one could have imagined that the era of population decline would bring such rapid changes, especially with the decrease in children of school age.
of population decline would bring such a rapid change, especially with the decrease in children of school age. A sweeping transformation in education has already begun. It started with kindergartens closing, and now the fire has spread to primary schools. In some counties, in Shanxi, parents went to pick up their children's registration cards, only to find the campus empty. No one notified them. No warnings. This is not an isolated case. Last year, over 5,000 primary schools nationwide stopped enrolling students, an average of 15 schools a day. Whether in urban or rural areas, public or private, all were shrinking. After kindergartens, primary schools closed, and next it will be junior and senior high schools, and even universities.
In the comments, some netizens expressed, for most people, studying is meaningless now, and Harbin has closed 7 or 8 primary schools from last year to this year. The first field where population decline had a direct impact is in the education system. According to data from the Ministry of Education, the number of kindergartens has significantly decreased in recent years. In 2024, the number of kindergartens across the country dropped from 274,400 to 253,300, with over 20,000 closing in just 1 year. That means dozens of closures a day.
Wow.
The number of children enrolled has also drastically decreased. That means
I mean, this is a pretty area right here.
dozens of closures a day. The number of children enrolled has also drastically decreased. Experts predict that this trend is spreading to primary schools, with thousands of ordinary primary schools having already closed by 2024. Junior and senior high schools, and even higher education, could face a student shortage in the future. At the same time, the job market is also under significant pressure. While the decrease in kindergartens and primary schools can be explained as a direct result of declining birth rates, the emerging issues now point even more directly to another core issue of social operation: employment. A 35-year-old woman with a master's degree shared her job search experience.
35岁硕士，我意识到我这辈子可能再也找不到工作了。
I'm 35 and have a master's degree, and I realize I may never find a job again. When I look around the job market, all I see are people looking for work, and there are only a few companies hiring. Most jobs won't hire women over 30, and jobs that don't have an age limit often require specific skills.
Yeah, see, this is the absolute idiocy of Asia. So, yeah, the girl I dated in Europe, she won't go to China even though she has a master's degree and she now probably has a doctorate, because she says, even with this education, I'm still shit over there. She didn't tell me it was the age thing, but she just says, everyone has master's degrees. It's nothing. And look, most jobs don't hire women over 30. And there's like a thing in Asia where you have to be young, and it's just so stupid. Because even women over 30, they're probably not having kids and won't ask to have time off. So why wouldn't you hire women over 30 unless you just want to have young women in your company? It's just so stupid. They have a thing with age, and yeah, it's not just China.
Like forklift operators or air conditioner and washing machine repair jobs. I saw a company hiring for an internal position that paid $3,000 a month with weekends off and insurance. I was really excited, but when I spoke to HR about the position, they said I also needed to be able to drive and have my own car. I'd have to drive over 30 kilometers every day to deliver company materials, meaning I'd have to pay over 1,000 yuan in fuel costs on top of my 3,000 yuan salary. I just want to find an office job, even if it's only 3,000 yuan a month, with weekends off and insurance.
And see, this is what all the women, dude, even in China, they want to have some useless, absolutely fucking useless office job where they just make enough money and they get weekends off to go party it up. This woman here should be at home with a husband and kids. Maybe she does have a husband and kids. I don't know. But this is the fix in all the countries. All the men work. Only men. Now there's a lot of jobs and they need people. They could pay the men a lot. All the women, your job right after, get out of school at 18, I guess. Your job between 18 and 25 is to get married and have more than 2 kids. That should be mandatory. And don't say, oh, but what if she doesn't want kids? Every woman I met, biggest party animal, wants to be free. Every single one of them, when they were turning 28, 29, 30, all of a sudden, I mean, I know we've only known each other for like a week, but do you want to have kids with me? That clock hits them and they all want kids. But it's too late. And men don't want them because they know they're ran through. This is what you do. You don't need women like her at 33, whatever, looking for jobs, some useless office job that's already going to be taken by AI. This is it. All of them are losing their jobs because it's taken over by AI. They should have been married with kids. That's it.
But I can't find even that. It's so hard, really so hard. The job market is impossible to navigate now. So if you have a job with weekends off, a regular salary, and insurance, you should really cherish it. Don't just quit. The job market has become so distorted. In the comments, one netizen bluntly said, "What's happening to this country?" Another shared that their company received over 900 resumes in 2 days for a 4,500 yuan reception job, including many people with bachelor's degrees.
今年的就业形势严峻到什么地步？
It's not even, when they say what's happened to this country, it's not just this country. It's every country in the fucking world. I'm telling you, dude, it is a part of the plan. It is a part of the plan. We're in the end times. This is what's going to bring about the mark of the beast, universal basic income. You can't live unless you do this, you do that. That's why AI's here now. AI's here to take all the jobs and force you to be able to live. You're going to have to do something you don't want to do. This is a part of the plan. Get people to have no money.
How severe is the employment situation this year? Recently, our company was hiring for a front desk position with a salary of 4,500 yuan a month. In just 2 days, HR received over 900 resumes, many of which were from people with bachelor's degrees. For just one front desk position, in only 2 days, over 900 people applied.
Oh my gosh.
So if you still have a job and your company is still paying salaries, please really cherish the job you have now. In the comments, netizens from different regions gave more direct feedback. 4,500, that's high. In Xi'an, you can't even get 3,000 after probation. Business is sluggish now. It's good enough that they can still pay the base salary. We've closed one of our 3 4S stores in town. The empty streets is not just a matter of population numbers, it's also the result of shrinking economic vitality, social mobility, and development expectations. When education no longer guarantees a way out, when employment no longer offers stability, and when consumption can't support growth, these basic elements that once sustained a society's.
This is what I mean when I said, and it's in my other video, like the youth in China, they realize just getting an education doesn't mean anything anymore. These people with bachelor's and master's degrees can't even be a receptionist. So they just say fuck it and they just give up. And they might just move back somewhere cheap and just live in a little house with a garden and grow food and just live like that, just live like a hermit, not deal with the busy, expensive streets of Shanghai.
Operation are all weakening at once. The most direct feeling for ordinary people is often summed up in one simple statement: there are fewer and fewer people and fewer opportunities. At the same time, more and more young people are choosing to delay marriage or even not have children. These factors combined are further accelerating the trend in population shrinkage. In this social context, some people's questions are becoming more direct. What's happening to this country?
Yeah, it's unfortunate, but that's the world we live in now. If you guys have any comments, if you made it this far, comment down below, and I'll see you guys in the next one.